Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with just what we needed. A new cycle of Rachmaninoff symphonies featuring Cristian Măcelaru and the WDR Symphony Orchestra of Cologne, on LINN Records. Interesting that this label and these folks have gotten together, and it's terrific. You know, we may not need another Rachmaninoff cycle, but this is a really, really, really good Rachmaninoff cycle. In fact, it's one of the best. It really is. Let's begin at the beginning. Symphony No. 1. Well, Symphony No. 1 is, I thought for a minute it was a little shaky just at the opening. You know, not quite perfectly together. Da-da-da-da! Okay. They get together very quickly. It's just fine. There are some wonderful, wonderful passages. The whole development section with the bells and the motto theme, when it's doing that thing. I mean, the bell-like imitations. He does not use the version with like the excess percussion, which is correct, by the way. And how he transitions to the recapitulation, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The scherzo is dusky and twilight. The slow movement doesn't die. It can just sort of, it kind of whines a little bit. It's a little moany, but here it's just beautiful and ethereal. And the finale, well, this is the kicker. The finale has to really just take off like a shot, and it does. But best of all, the coda. The coda is the best coda since Ashkenazi and the Concertgebouw. And I'm not kidding. It is slow and agonizing and terrifying. And the tam-tam really, really, really rings out at the end. And that last bump is really powerful. Oh, my goodness. It's just sensational. Absolutely first class. Now, the second symphony, it has the exposition repeat in the first movement, which we don't need, but that's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad to have it. It's like the first symphony. It rises to these really powerful climaxes. He does use that timpani stroke on the very last note of the first movement, which I would prefer not be there. But that's a teensy tiny detail. And you can't complain about it. It would be stupid, right? The scherzo is really sharp, really clean. The luscious second subject is warm and singing, and the trio section that begins with the fugato. That's a test for me in this piece because it's got to be fast and brilliant and precise, but transparent. Because when the march tune comes in over the strings, going like that, and then you've got the and you've got the soft rolls on the snare drum and subtle crashes of cymbals, and it's all got to be beautifully clear and in perspective, and it is. The slow movement does not die on the vine. It can languish. It's so beautiful. It's very languorous. It's just languosity or linguini or whatever you want to call it. And it's just lovely. And the finale is exciting and powerful and passionate. And again, the coda is really well done. I mean, and the sonics are terrific. I mean, you've got a nice firm bass and a brilliant top, and you can hear everything. It's just wonderful. The third symphony is even better. Well, really, it's a terrific performance of the third. That's the toughest one to do because maybe it's the thematic material isn't quite as distinguished as the rest of them. Aside from the second subject of the first movement, and that motto theme is just everything. It's not much, to hold the whole thing together, but they really, really play it well. And it's not one of those push me, pull you affairs with all kinds of smushy rubato that just stops the music from moving. This moves. It moves beautifully, and it's all very, very naturally done, and that's what you want. Even the finale, which so often hangs fire, is exciting. Now, the couplings. The couplings are the Caprice bohémien, which nobody ever plays or cares about, and which is really quite a fun piece. I mean, it's exciting and colorful. It's like the Capriccio Italien or Rimsky's Capriccio Espagnol or one of those things. I mean, it's really just a fizzy, brilliant 18 minutes of orchestral fun, sort of a showpiece. It was the work written immediately before the first symphony, and it shows that Rachmaninoff knew what he was doing. And then the Isle of the Dead. Ah, the Isle of the Dead. Well, this is a very slow Isle of the Dead. I don't mean very slow in the sense of, I mean, it's slower than most. Most people get through it in around 20 minutes. This is 22. So 2 minutes, it's not such a big deal. But in a piece that's largely slow, it's kind of a big deal. It emerges from nothingness very gradually. And once it gets going, it's very powerful. It really, really is. I tend to prefer an opening of the Isle of the Dead that has a little bit more rhythmic definition. But you've got that 5/8 rocking rhythm, dum, 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 the low harps and whatnot. And then you're da 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 dum ba da da. This is kind of murky at the beginning, and that's a way to do it. It's a legitimate way to do it, but it's very, very, very concentrated. I mean, he doesn't let the tension sag for a minute. So that's what really matters in a piece like this, because it's all slow and dark and full of gloom and doom. And boy, this is. Although I can imagine more propulsive performances that would, get your pulse moving a little better. I mean, they do for me anyway, but that's okay. On the whole, this is a tremendous Rachmaninoff cycle, well worth your time and attention and shekels and all of that stuff. First-rate job. Congrats to everybody concerned. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.